And welcome along and welcome back to a very wet Six Ashes. The snow is still on the ground, but we've got rain falling at the moment. We were actually forecast snow, so that's a good thing. We're bringing the old sprayer down here because this sprayer isn't very good. And we kind of need to get rid of it. It's full of herbicide and we can't unload it, so that's my main reason for getting rid of this, is that it's just not a very usable sprayer. So we're gonna drop this off here like so, turn around. It's not worth much money, so we can just drop it off and get rid of it, and hopefully this year we'll be able to afford a sprayer that's a little bit better. So yeah, and sell. Yes, I do. There we go. £419. Wow, that was a really amazing piece of kit. We're gonna come down here because we need to get something else done today. We now have precision farming running on here, and the map is all set up for it. So we need to get ourselves a scout. We're only going to be using it once every 3-ish years, so we're going to rent it in this case. Its initial leasing cost is 867, and per day. We're going to try and get all this done today. It does mean that anytime we add new fields, we've got to spend this money, but the amount of times that we're likely to have to lease this, or compared to how much it costs, is very small. So yeah, it's just worth really leasing this, I think, to get this job done, to get our fields scanned, and then we can return it, because we also have an issue at the moment where we have a very small window to get stuff seeded. And to the point where I think I've had to change my crop rotation. So you can see here at the moment, these are the windows that we have to plant stuff. We are already pretty much at the halfway point for wheat, barley, oat and canola. Sunflowers kicks in tomorrow, and the soybeans kick in on the 5th and 6th. And I think if we look at the carrots, we've got a nice big window. So I've switched out canola. Well, canola and sunflowers are pretty much interchangeable in our rotation. So if we can't get the canola in time, then we'll switch it out for the sunflowers, which have a slightly later planting season. So hopefully that should work out well for us. For now though, let's get this scout out and get it moving. The big problem with these windows we've got is that we still need to get our first layer of fertilizer down as well. Now we should be all right, I think, with the ground at 0 degrees, right on freezing. But anything more than that, and anything less than that, and we can't spread our digestate. Even so, we still have all this snow on the ground, and I'm kind of hoping that that is going to disappear in the near future. Basically, the first 2 days of our planting window for most of our crops is a bust. Because we can't get the fields done in time. We can't get them together, which is really weird. Well, it just tells me that we need to make sure that with the winter crops, we get the winter crops done and dusted and in, because we just do not have a summer window, a spring window for them particularly. Well, it's a case of the fields would need to be prepped in the winter in order to get, or in the autumn in order to get these crops planted in the spring. Trying to do all of this in springtime is not something that is very easy for us to do at all. We need to go and scan our new fields today as well. Right up and over by the BGA. I'd like to I'd like to try and see how much digestate we do actually have in the BGA, but I'm not 100% sure how we would go about that. As far as I know, there's no particular indicator anywhere for that, and I think that's something in the game. If you own the BGA, there's no way to tell how much digestate you've got in it. We might as well start with this, with the horsegrass field. It is fairly high. Is this going to damage it? No, it isn't. That's good. And we'll take some soil samples through the snow. So unfold you. And then we want to get the largest area we can with this. So about here-ish, I reckon. Oh, and take my sample. It nicely goes under the snow, which is good. And it shouldn't take too many to get this done. But if we can get this field sampled, and basically we'll put all of our samples in once we've done them. So there we go, the second one. Hoping these soil samples. Well, I'm hoping the fields are going to be good for us and allow us to get the best crops we can. We're sort of finding around this area to be a very, I keep trying to fold it up, a very, I think it's sandy kind of setup. There we are, and we want to get this. I think we can get the whole top corner of this field in. Can we? Just about. Yeah, just about. That'll save us on the sample costs. And there we go. Right, that is that field done. Fold all that in, and we'll head over and start on field 10 next. And then we've got the two parts of field 11 to do. And then finally back to field 17 via the grass around field 17. I think that's going to be the wise way to go. Oh, still sliding on all of this. It's a little bit muddy around here. Right, and get the best coverage I can. There we go, and sample it. And it's really hard to tell with this one here. This field here isn't really marked on the map, so as a result, it's a little bit more difficult to get the sampling right. But if we're in roughly the middle here, yeah, I think we want to be slightly higher on the field. Looking at this, there we go. So if we sample here, that should do it. Let's see. Has that covered? Has covered the majority of the field. And this is the thing. It's covering the majority. That will allow us to get a pretty good coverage and a pretty good idea of everything across here. I don't mind some overlap with the other field, but I would like to try and get this so that we cover as much as we possibly can. Yeah. And that should actually show me where the gap in the field is. Yeah, it's just a really weird setup here. Let's do that one there, right on the edge of the previous one, so it's a little bit of extra expense. But to be honest, we can go right to the corner of the fields down here. Yeah, you see, it doesn't quite match. And sample there. So I'm going to go around, get the rest of this sampled. Give us a good idea of where we are and what we have. And we can get these samples put in and see what the land that we've owned and we've got looks like. I think we're not too bad where we are, but it's there's a good possibility that we've got certainly field 17. I think is going to be a bit of a problem. Coming to the top end of field 11 here, and you can actually see just the other side of the hedge. That is one of our new fields there, which is pretty good. We're going to be going, so what we're going to do is I'm going to sample here. That should give us a clue as to what those fields are. I need to sort of get down there and do things like that. Looks like that we've got, actually, we own the BGA. We have a very big shed up here. 7 Trent Green Power. So we actually have a very big barn if we wanted to use one. I don't really want to decamp my farm up to the BGA here, but certainly if we were looking to give ourselves a new big yard, we have a new big yard in the form of the BGA. It is all there. Yeah. It's just so we thought we could build a massively decentralized farm here, and it would be one that works, but we'd be split over 3 different yards. Does give me somewhere to put the combine out the way if I do want to do it, so would be useful from that point of view maybe. And this should be our last sample from field 17. So we can have a look at how far we've gone. So samples taken, we've got samples from 17, both halves of field 11, field 10, and our unnamed field up here. Now, interestingly enough, this field here, this grass field, this is not set up as farmland. So we need to sort that this year in order to get that properly working. And then we've got 12 and 13 down the bottom here. So we're going to go and sample those now as well before we go any further. We've taken 37 samples so far, which is quite a large amount. It's going to cost us nearly, well, over 4,000, I reckon, to get everything sampled and done. But that is fine. That is the kind of expectation we have, and that will do us for 2-3 years of knowledge of how our farm is doing, which is great news. We need, so I really wish this weather would clear up and this snow would disappear, because I don't feel comfortable spreading digestate on this ground. It doesn't work for me. We could possibly cultivate at the moment. We do have a cultivator and could crack on with that. Now, the field that is going to oats this year, that is gonna be field 17 anyway, because that's what was the soybeans last year. So we need to go and get that changed. So down here, on to the 7 Trent Green Power driveway, and you can see why there's a certain appeal to have this as the entrance to the farm, simply because it's a nice big road that we have access to here. Now, where is the access to this field? I can see the access to the field next to it, but where is our access to field 12? Is that what that is actually? That might be the access down there. Field 12 is actually a fairly big field that we currently have as grass. I'm tempted to put the oats in up here into field 12. and return field 17 to grass. If I did that, the likelihood we'd have is that our main yard would end up being the upper one, and would expand there. We've got alfalfa down here. I don't think alfalfa hay is any good for horses, unfortunately. Let's just have a look. Fresh grass, horse silage, horse hay. Oh no, alfalfa hay. We can use alfalfa hay with the horses. That might be the way to go then. That very much might be the way to go. Not that we actually need any of that at the moment, but we've got a field of alfalfa up here. It would mean that we only have to deal with grass twice. Well, we only have to deal with grass stuff twice a year, which would be good. Right, let's get ourselves in a good position and see if we can get these two fields scanned as quickly as possible. Yeah, I think leaving 13 to still be alfalfa is probably going to be a good way to go. So, yeah, let's get this sampled. See what we have. And last sample from field 13 should get us all done. There we go. So now that, how many samples have we got? We have got 47 samples, so this should cost us 4,700. You can see the farm now, and this is what I was talking about earlier, about this shed here at the top here being much more central than this. Our main farm is just sort of slightly off to the side, whereas everything else, this is much more central to our fields. If there was only some way that we could get through from field 17 from here, and we need to do we're gonna have to do a road through round like that, I think. And if there was only some way that we could come through this bit here, because at the moment we have to go all the way around there to get to here. I don't think there is. And I don't think the hider mod works on hedges, unfortunately, because that would be good. But I think it only hides the collision, not the hedge itself. So let's just head over here and have a quick look. See what we have in the way of possibility of putting a back door in. Yeah, you see, ideally I'd like to be able to come through this corner here, but if we bring this on, I don't think that works. Yeah, it's the collision box that would get hidden, not the actual hedge, unfortunately. So that would require a change in GE to get a gate in that corner. So I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. It is something I'd love to see in a future version of Farm Sim. Is destructible hedges that you can take out if you want to and rework. But it's hedges in general aren't a base game thing. So yeah, it would probably take someone with the mod maps or doing mod maps to do that. So yeah, it would be interesting. Let's get back to the main farm. In fact, before we do that, we have scanned everything. We'll just double check. But yeah, we've scanned all the fields we own here. Do we still own land down the bottom end here? Yeah, we do still own that piece of woodland. We do want to buy these two fields, but they are 116,000 and we only have 71 left. So that's going to be next year's purchase, I think, down there. But we are going to get back. As I said, let's send off the soil samples, get them going. Yep, we'll get the results of that soon. And yeah, we're going to head back. Oh well, go ahead actually back down to the shop and see what our options are as far as spreaders go, because we need to get field 17 moving as much as we can today. And so we're back down to the shop. Our soil samples have completed processing. It cost 4,700. Let's drop this off over here. Yeah, 4,700, which is absolutely brilliant. So we've got those done. Not so much that it cost 4,700 to get it done, but more that it was brilliant that we have got it done, and we can have a look at our field now. So let's return that. Yes, okay. Right, and let's have a look over here at how our fields look when we scan them. And that, wow, look at that. So talk about going from good to awful very, very quickly. So we've got an amazing set of fields up the top here. Field 10 is pure loam. Field 12 is pure loam. The upper part of field 11 is pure loam. Those are our three most productive fields right there. Field 17, on the other hand, is pure loamy sand. That is horrible. The same for field 13. So those two are pretty awful. And then we've got an interesting mix in our horsegrass field here. So yeah, it's really a case of where do we go from this? As I said, 17 is a big field, but it's a field that looks, oh wow, is never going to produce much nice stuff. Fields, all fields need a bit of a pH balance, so could do with some lime, and all of them need some nitrogen as well. So yeah, we want to get something to spread some digestate on those fields. Once this disappears, I'd kind of hoped that as we'd had soybeans on field 17, it was not going to have the issue, but we did that after we added the precision farming after we harvested it. So it actually, yeah, it's not worked out that way for us. Now, what do we have in the slurry spreaders? We've got the Côté Garant, which is 23,000. That holds 8,000 litres. We have the Abbey. That holds 11,000 litres. Requires 150 horsepower is the only problem with this one. But I think the only tractor we have that will pull that is the TW25, unfortunately. And then what other? We've got this as well. We've got the Marshall, 14,000 for 8,000 litres, whole 75 horsepower. So we'll run off any tractor we have. And we can put it in the New Holland blue as well. If we put the design color to the white, yep. So we can get this. I think this is going to be our best bet. 16,500 will work out pretty well for us. Does this have? Is this hose mod compatible? Is this map hose mod compatible? That's the question actually. We can test that fairly easily. So let's buy that, I think. Get ourselves ready for next time. Now, only holding 8,000 litres, I'm wondering if we can do something like this. 50 horsepower, it does take digestate. I think the base game stuff all comes capable of using the hose mod, and that holds 55,000 litres, because I don't think 8,000 litres is going to go very far. Now I can't use it. I shouldn't really use this to transport the manure. 25 or the slurry. So yeah, let's start off with this. We may have to do lots of back and forth trips with this, and I should probably, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a hose mod, the hose mod hose as well. So, and we'll go with the slightly longer one. Slurry Hose. There we go. Standard or extension, we want standard. Buy me that for 260. There it is. It's sort of rolling underneath. And we'll see if this attaches to our trailer. It doesn't. In fact, no. This does not work with this at all. I know it does. Attach hose. This is hose mod compatible. Yes. Right. Can we load hose? We have got the we've got the lines on here. I don't want to attach it. I want to put it for transport. I'm not sure we can transport it on this. I'm not sure it will go on. Yeah, it won't go on that. So we're going to have to come back here and pick the hose up. That's slightly annoying. But we need to go and see if the hose will attach up to the digestate up at the other bits. So let's go get this back, and then we can bring the trailer back. Grab our hose mod hose and head back down to there. Current spray rate. Now, if I've got spray rate on here, I need to go and turn that mod off because that interferes with the precision farming. I also noticed, actually, while we've been mucking about up there, we've actually got the snow gone. The snow has gone. Brilliant. So we can go and have a try with this, I think. So we'll get this up to the BGA, and we'll see if we can get the hose up there as well, and see if we can get this to work. Okay, so looking at things up here, the refill point actually up here is this. So yeah, we don't really have a way to use the hose on this. In fact, it would load in from the top. So I'm just going to refill this here from here. Here we go. We really only have 23,520 litres of digestate. That is not great, especially considering how much stuff we've done here grass wise. So that's a little bit concerning. I am gonna have to see where we are with things, but yeah, that's a little bit disconcerting. Hopefully we're gonna have enough to do everything. If we can. Field 17. This is going to be the advantage of having soybeans, though. Soybeans will allow us to not have to worry about doing this on at least one of our fields each year, because soybeans put stuff back into the ground. I want to see if there's sunflowers rather than canola will help with this as well. So yeah, I think we need to look at both of those as an option, especially with the later planting of sunflowers as well. So yeah, lots of options here. We're gonna have to have a play around, I think. I did a quick check on my way back over, and yes, I did have the variable spray rate mod on here, so that has now been removed, and we have our field that was soybeans last year. Now the thing I've got with field 11 now is I've been treating it as two fields with separate bits. I think it might be a case that we want to do it as one field now, maybe. And here we go. So we're good. We are bringing this up. It is using quite a bit of slurry of digestate here, though. Yeah, we're already nearly 10% out. I think it's going to take all the digestate just to get one of our worst fields done, which is not great. I'm not overly happy about that. Thankfully, most of our... But this field does need all the boost it can get. And to be honest, doing this digestate means that we're going to be in a position where we're going to spend less on doing fertilizer on this field. So that's not... It's not a huge problem. It's just an annoying problem more than anything else. But yeah, you can see that we are already 67%, so we've already used a third of our digestate just doing just going around the headland like this, which is not great. And this corner is going to require even more of it too, because it's really red down here. That's like 0 in this corner. So yeah, I do like how the varying spray rate works with PF. Precision farming is just absolutely brilliant from that point of view. It means you don't waste any. You can see the number has dropped dramatically there. So we're gonna head into the field now. So we've got about half of this left. That's not... That could have been so much worse. And I'm actually quite happy that this field may take 20,000 litres maybe. Maybe we could use the small bit we have left on the horse grass or on the alfalfa. Either of those would work well. But yeah, the thing with precision farming is you kind of need to have animals that produce manure or slurry, or be doing a lot of grass work that also produces you with a lot of digestate, because yeah, at the moment this is not going to be overly profitable for us, this field. I'm really tempted to put this back down to grass actually. We want to, I think we want to be creating silage to sell at the BGA. As we own it, we might as well make the most of it, and grass will be the thing. Grass will be the thing on this field that makes us the most money, because we'll be able to harvest it 3 times a year from that point of view. But yeah, it's we have a field of grass already up on field 12, but that is just a complete field of loam, which would be better. This has gone really far actually. I'm surprised we're down to 5% left, and we've covered probably 2/3 of this field with this single tank. So that has worked out very well for us. Let's head back down to the BGA, fill up with another load, and then we can see how many more fields that we can do. What I want to do is get the T-dub in here and get that working on this field now, and get that doing the cultivating and preparing the field, because then next time we'll be able to get that field planted with the oats, and we'll be on top of things. We're refilled with some more digestate, and we can get this onto the field here. Let's see, we made it up to that point there. If this covers the rest of this, well, I think, yeah, we might use most of this tank up. I think field 10 is probably the best place for us to put the rest of the digestate. It should pretty much cover it. We don't need to spread any of this on where our soybeans are going. So that is the bit of field 11 right in front of us. The soybeans are going to go in there, so that bit of field doesn't need doing. Actually, thinking about it, field 10 field 10 doesn't need doing, because if we're going to put sunflowers in there rather than canola, sunflowers require less nitrogen than canola does. So that's another reason to do sunflowers rather than canola. We'll end up with a much better chance on there, and a lot less expense overall, other than the fact that we will have to buy a new combine header. We've got with the sunflowers, yeah, it would require a new combine header, because we'd need to get either a corn header or a dedicated sunflower header. I don't know if there is a sunflower header small enough that will work with our combine, but we'll have to give that a check and see if that works. But yeah, overall, I think we're pretty good. Does leave the question though of where to put the remaining digestate. Let's have a look at the main map. Top half of field 11 or field 12. If we get enough time, actually, it'd be really good on field 12 to be able to put either the oats in or wheat in. I'm intrigued as to which might actually produce the better amount of money. We want to bale whichever one it is and sell the bales. We're trying to maximize the profits that we have here now into our third year here, and it is a case of we own all this stuff. This is all ours, but we've done all this without a loan, and I can't believe this is the first time in a very long time I've played Farm Sim with no loan at all. I didn't think it was possible for me to play it that way, but yeah, no loan at all. We're into the third year. We've got this field nicely covered. Field 12. Let's have a look at this now then. What fields have we got? We got field 12 up there is a similar size to this one. How much digestate do we have left? 24%. So I don't know if we have enough to cover that field. Field 10, as I said, we don't need to do because we have because we are going to put sunflowers in there, so that will do on its own. The top half of field 11 here, that is going to go to canola goes to soybeans, so that doesn't need to go. Carrot needs to go. Okay, so oats goes to actually field 10. We need to go and do this on field 10 because that is going to be our field of carrots for next year, for this year. So yeah, that'll be a good place to do it. And then maybe, how does soybeans do after grass? Do not stop starting at the moment here. Maybe we'll get grass off that off field 12 for this year, and we'll see where we go from there. So soybeans here, let's look at this. Soybeans get 0.95 off grass, so yeah, it's that would also put stuff in and allow us to do them later. So that's a possibility as well. It's let's turn that off too and head out. So yeah, what do you guys think in the comments? Let us know. What do you think we should plant in field 12 for the grass? Or do you think we should just run it as a grass field this year? Get a whole load of silage off it and sell that at the BGA. I mean, that is a possibility as well. We've been down to the BGA and filled up with digestate. We've still got about 1,000 litres of it down there. However, I did not realise how late it's got. It is 20 to 7 in the evening here in game. So this actually, I think, is a pretty good place for us to leave it. We can get this all done next time. For now, though, I am going to leave this here. So all that remains is for me to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. And for all the latest videos from Virtual Farmer, please subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.